there any comments from commissioners on this briefing?
Judge, I do have a statement that I'd like to read into the record. Through PEBC, Dallas County is able to provide various benefits to employees and their families through our co-op program, which limits partner eligibility to a legally recognized couple. From a legal standpoint, the federal government and the state of Texas do not recognize domestic partnerships. Counties, as an arm of the state government and as an elected official, my duties are bound to conform to legislation that dictates and defines what determines a legal union. The state and federal law are clear on the definition of marriage between a man and a woman. I will vote to uphold that law with regards to domestic partner benefits. Providing domestic partner benefits has been put forth as an issue for equality in the workplace, but it is very difficult to achieve that, and Cecily hit on that. Because of the Defense of Marriage Act in 1996, federal law and the IRS does not recognize domestic partnerships. This legislation puts a greater tax burden on the employee and their partner because employees are required to report and withhold taxes on the value of the employer-provided health coverage. Domestic partners choose this health benefit, then it will reduce the take-home income for the county employee. This stands as an indirect contradiction of the equal pay for equal work standard that Dallas County holds, because they are not afforded the same pre-tax benefits as legally married spouses. It's difficult to agree with the equality argument regarding domestic partner benefits if the results would be an additional tax liability on the employer. To offset the increase in taxes, many organizations have done what's called gross up, the salary of employees to counter their loss in pay. If Dallas County were to offer this as a solution at a future point, which I believe the county will be moved to after this passes, how would employees with legal marriages react to this reallocation of funds that provides more funds to the employee without a legal marriage? Additional expense would also be directed towards administrative duties that are increased to monitor and implement domestic partnership benefits and their tax liabilities to the IRS. It is also important to address that due to DOMA, Domestic Defense of Marriage Act, protection laws such as COBRA and HIPAA offer domestic partnerships no protection. Domestic partners are also not considered spouses under FMLA for legal purposes. With this perspective in mind, how can an argument be made that offering domestic partner benefits to Dallas County employees creates a more competitive workforce? Let's define this new definition of competitive domestic partnership benefits. You must pay more for more expensive insurance rates outside of the county pool. There's a decrease in net income due to increase in tax withholding. There's no protection under HIPAA and COBRA benefit laws. It's subject to stringent verification requirements, and it's not covered by FMLA. How is this benefits package an attractive offer to potential employee candidates? With all that said, moving forward with domestic partner benefits at the Dallas County is merely a political agenda that is being pushed by those seeking favor with a certain group of voters. Thank you, Judge.
I'm with you, Shane. We could, and so, Commissioner, I guess what you're saying, if Dr. Taylor and I, in terms of our affection, decided that we wanted to cohabitate, that we would not be entitled to the same benefits as other employees in Dallas County.
Well, Commissioner, what I'm saying is, the state of Texas determines that law on what is considered a union. And us being an arm of the state, I certainly don't believe that counties have the authority. Everything we do is by statute or constitution. I believe that counties do not have that legal authority to do that. And that's why we voted against that. Because that definition is made at the state level. And when you have the federal government and the state that do not recognize that, I'm not for certain how we as a county, an arm of state government, can do that.
Any other comment? Good. But we don't have an opinion to say that it is illegal.
Correct. I mean, it will take, once this is implemented, then it will take being challenged.
If I could, let me break this down in human terms. There's a county employee who
is a woman who has 2 children with those children's father, and she lives with that man who, for reasons that are their own business, doesn't want to get married. That man works in construction. That woman has talked to me, and that woman is saving money for those children's college. She is one construction accident away from those children not going to college. That's what this is about. We have another county employee who very much wants to cover their partner of 17 years who has a serious medical condition and is disabled from working. That's what this is about. This isn't about currying favor. It's not about making a constitutional challenge to the Defense of Marriage Act. It's not about anything but trying to promote the very best workplace that we can promote for our employees, trying to retain good employees, trying to attract good employees, and taking care of those 6,000 people who work for Dallas County. That's all this is about.
And it's also, I don't believe it's a political agenda. I think every single speaker used 2 words that we all use. It's about fairness, equality, that's for sure. And then it's about competitiveness. When we look at some of the 2007, not even 2010, 2007 Hewitt Associates survey, 54% of the survey firms offer domestic partner benefits. 2008, Human Rights Campaign Fund survey found that 9,274 employers offer domestic partner benefits. And of that number, 8,653 were in the private sector. Companies and, and I believe Ms. Cox mentioned that Fortune 500 companies, 270 of them offer domestic partner benefits. And hey, there's no big news here. We have a lot of them here in Dallas County. And guys, we are competing against them. For me, this is not about politics, this is not about government, this is about fairness and competitiveness. And that's what we offer. Last year, we passed our non-discrimination policy, and in my view, we're simply catching up. We're catching up to the times, we're catching up to the rest of the world. And for me, offering the domestic partner benefits, we stay competitive, and we stay healthy as well in the private sector. Studies, city after city shows there's not that many employees at this point that will probably request this benefit. So it's time to move on. If we could have done it in any other way, Commissioner, we probably would have done it. But this is the way we're ready to go, and
And the reason I even brought up the whole fiscal impact is that on operations, when you talk about $53 million, is that where we are? About $53 million. She says $100,000 is de minimis. I want to put it in perspective, because I don't want anybody to say, wow, I said $100,000 versus $53 million.
right.
No.
So, in closing, this is the right thing to do. We're catching up to the time. And I want to thank everybody who took the time to be here today to speak about this important issue. It's not only about same-sex couples, we also have cohabitation couples. So it's fair all around. Thank you, George. Thank you.
And I believe that this is a poorly thought out policy, because we're putting the cart before the horse. Dallas County does not exist in a vacuum. We are, in fact, an arm of part of the continuum of state, local, and federal government. And the fact is, our state and federal government do not recognize marriage. Nor do they recognize family leave, nor do they recognize HIPAA for partners, nor do they recognize COBRA for partners. This state and the federal government need to recognize marriage in order for us to do this. And I think that we are they're circumventing the law by passing a policy which is contrary to the Defense of Marriage Act.
Well, thank God we're not waiting on federal government, because of the institution of slavery, we never would have gotten there. And so, you have to,
Commissioner.
He's had 4 years.
He's about to have 4 more.
He had 4 years, Commissioner. I hadn't seen anything change.
well, the institution of slavery had 400.
I'm talking just 4 years.
Okay,
I think in many ways, we're all waiting for the federal government.
Well, if there's no other comments, I'll call the question.
But you judge, this is
No, no,
we will have a court order on for next week for the court to consider this item.